A camera rolling. B camera rolling. Audio rolling. All right. And, clap whenever you're ready.
Hey y'all, so I'm excited to be preaching with y'all again for Kaneo in studio. And so we're continuing our series on restructuring faith. And I don't know if I'm the only one. There might be some people that agree with this, but there might be some people that don't. But when I think of faith, I think of risk. And even though we think, oh, we just need faith to get through our everyday life, I feel like the sheer.
Good, sorry. You didn't like that, did you?
No.
Yeah. What's going on? I'm not looking at you.
I know, but this is just weird. Because every other time I've done this, I've just been in my bedroom.
In your what?
Just in my bedroom. And when I look at myself doing it, usually I can see Montgomery. Remember last time when you were like, so it just feels like it's not the same. So, and it's not, but it's
fine. Whenever you're ready, clap. Let it roll for 3 seconds and then go. And just smile. You want to talk to me?
No. Okay. I don't know what I want to do.
Okay.
Get it over with. Hey y'all, so we're continuing our series on restructuring faith, or reconstructing faith. Somewhat reconstruction includes restructuring, but sometimes it doesn't. But I know for me, one of the things that I think of when I think of faith is risk. And so I know some people, faith is this very nice, gentle thing, and like, you're laying down in green pastures and, all psalmsy. But for me, faith is about risk. The sheer force of life can take us out. We are seeing that right now during this pandemic. And so the idea of reconstructing our faith so that it means something right now, to me, just brings the idea that what we're trying to do is figure out how to navigate risk. So I've had this theory for a very long time that right now is being reworked. And so I figured, why not incorporate this into my sermon for reconstructing faith? So I've had this theory. If you're going to do something that scares the crap out of you, you need to do it twice. Because the first time you do it, you're scared as hell. You don't remember anything. It's not an enjoyable experience. And then the second time you do it, you know you're not going to die. And so you enjoy it a little bit more. So that's been my theory. I figured this out when I was 18 years old on my senior trip, and I went bungee jumping. And the first time I did it, I was scared as hell. And then I did it again because a friend wanted to do it. And I was just standing with her in line, and then the guy was like, "You're back." And so I did it again. And the second time I was like, whoa, that wasn't as bad. So that's been my theory on like risky, scary stuff. You got to do it at least twice. So that's been my theory until now. Now I'm wondering if maybe you've got to do it at least 3 times. So hear me out. When I came up with the do it twice, I hadn't been married. I hadn't had a child. And though I'm not married anymore, I did that twice. I never got to bungee jump with either of them. But many of y'all know my child, and I think those of you that know him will agree that he's probably a bungee jumping kind of person. So I think if we ever get to that bridge, that we'll probably cross it together, and I'll go to bungee jumping again. But I see no reason to do it after that time. So at least 3 times is what I'm thinking as I'm reconstructing this idea about how I might navigate risky or scary things that require faith. So there's something about sharing with someone for the first time. It may not be your first time. It may only be theirs. Or it may be, isn't their first time either, but it's the first time that y'all have done it together. Even if you were nervous, like when I chose to climb Black Rock in Phoenix for my first real rock climbing adventure, or risky, like when I decided to bungee jump, or something you can never quite be sure if it'll come out right. like a souffle or dating again, or maybe even things like our faith. The first time we confess our faith, it is a gift that is given to us that we willingly accept. A delightful and mysterious experience with adventures and twists and turns that we don't know about for sure, but we've heard about in a song. You know, those songs we all sing. In the Methodist tradition, during the rite and ritual of baptism and confirmation, though we've got to wade our own way through the mystery of God and accept Christ making the initial confession for ourselves, we aren't alone. And every time we revisit our faith and celebrate baptism from that point forward, periodically we find ourselves together with some folks we know, some folks we may have just met, and some folks we know but don't spend much time with. And all the while, with everyone together, we're professing that we trust God and we trust ourselves to do this faith thing in community again. The first time we confess our faith, like I said, it's a gift that is given to us, specifically by name. But after that, every time after that, we share our faith. So here's my confession. I haven't always really believed. Yes, I've been a church mouse my entire life, but I haven't always believed what we said in faith together in community. Especially for folks like me, this may resonate with you. If you're queer, if you're Afro-Latina, if you're a single woman, if you're mothering a child, a black boy is mine, but in this country with its colonial roots that still bear this strange fruit throughout all of its systems, faith has been used as a weapon to increase our capacity to bear bullshit. Rather than shine brightly, those of us that have any of these cultural elements that I've described know that even after deconstructing and reconstructing our faith throughout our lives, maybe much like me, you've had doubts. I've had questions. I've had seasons where what I saw and the things that I believed and experienced turned the sky red and made the rocks cry out. But when you grow up as a church mouse in Texas with a huge Southern and Caribbean family and a million cousins, even when you've been away for a while, when you don't know what you believe, or better yet, if you don't know if what you now believe will get you cussed out by your praying auntie, there's something about showing up to church because it's your baby cousin's baptism. There's something that happens when you pick up the hymnal because you need something to do with your hands more than you need to remember the words in it. And then you hear the pastor say, do you, as Christ's body, the church, reaffirm both your rejection of sin and your commitment to Christ? We do, you say. Maybe you whisper it. Will you nurture one another in the Christian faith and the life and include these persons now before you in your care? And you find yourself whispering, without looking at the hymnal, with God's help, we will proclaim the good news and live according to the example of Christ. We will surround these persons with a community of love and forgiveness, that they may grow in their trust of God and be found faithful in their service to others. We will pray for them that they may be true disciples who walk in the way that life leads. And you find yourself saying we do, and you have a moment where you kick yourself and you put your head down, and because you know when you walked in, you didn't. And you wonder if you just said we do because you wanted to fit in and not start a fight, or if you really still do. Maybe just a little. Maybe with just that one part you do, but not that other stuff. And you take a deep breath, and you realize that though you didn't last week and you didn't this morning, you do now. You remember the connection and the exhilaration you had the first time the Holy Spirit or the spirit adventure or the acting bug hit you, and you quietly feel the flightiness in your gut settle, and you know that you'll do it again. Whatever it is. apply for another job, audition for another part, go to dinner with your grandfather or father-in-law, try to have that hard conversation, activate your dating profile, volunteer to chair the Easter Vigil Committee, get in your car and run an errand. Whatever it is, you decide you'll do it again. I know you're not ready. Okay, I know I'm not ready. But what are prayers and Hail Marys for if not to bring our wildest imaginations down out of the clouds and reconstruct them in some way within our everyday lives on this earth as it is in heaven? Because the truth of the matter is that what God's intention all along are daily carbs that comfort us and provide us forgiveness. That even God knew reconstructing our faith wasn't merely for the sake of what was. As Jesus shared the bread that last time, he said, "This is my body broken for you." Reconstructing our faith isn't so that it isn't outdated, so that it matters, so that it's worthwhile right now. It isn't just about what we believe, it's also about who we believe for. That's right, you heard that preposition for. Not who we believe in, but what and who we believe for. Faith is about who we believe for just as much as it is about what we believe in. I don't just reconstruct my faith because I need something new to hold on to. I reconstruct my faith because we need something new to hold on to together. The work of reconciling, the work of transformation, the work of deconstructing and reconstructing a whole new way of belief, of faith, was done in public and community. Jesus was at parties and weddings and things that are kind of like conferences, concerts, family reunions, coffee shops. Well, back then they called them water wells, but where people gathered. But you get it. Jesus reconstructed the faith that we were given as a gift at our baptism and confirmations in public with friends and enemies together. So when outside reopens, well, when you decide it's time for you to go back outside, maybe it won't be so bad. Maybe we can do it again with fresh eyes. Do it again with someone we've never done it with before. That's what I'm imagining. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what this reconstruction of my own faith in this season is compelling me to do next. To do something that I've done before with someone who's never done it with me. So, what have you reconstructed, remade, recrafted, done again? And who do you want to share it with? Who needs you to share your faith? Let's talk about that. Mike's going to let you know how to join us on Zoom for the discussion part, and sometimes after the discussion, drinking games. And I hope I'll see you soon on Zoom and also in the shop soon together. I love y'all. Ooh, I think it went to sleep.